Yeah, our project was based on the question of how can we create AI models that can help us to understand and control human biology. And we decided to answer this question with an example of a model that we think could be created. And the inspiration to create this model comes from a problem that we often find in biology, which is how we take a biological system from point A to point B. And that can be from disease to healthy, from old to young, or from something like a standard cell state to a cell state where there is repair going on, right? And the way we decided to do this is by creating a diffusion model, like a proof of concept project, is by creating a diffusion model that is able to map attributes of a cell to a description of a cell. So what I mean by that is, for example, it can map something like an old cell to an expression vector that is describing the state of the cell. And I'm gonna pass the mic to Ravi and JJ so that they can explain more of the details.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot of data sets where people have gathered some of this data, like the tabula muracenis. But we sort of looked at all of these and decided that what would be really helpful would be a single common data set that would gather these different sources together in a unified way, and then build a model that people could use to actually interpret that data. So, for example, as Carlos said, be able to have a diffusion model that we can now, for example, if you run an experiment, be able to cluster those cells with other similar cells, be able to do predictive modeling of if I took this cell but perturbed it in this particular way, what would that look like? In the same way as you can do with DALL-E, where you can take an image and say, what would this look like in a different style? Well, that might be, can I take this cell and perturb it with this chemical or this gene knockout, and then what would it look like? So I think this is a thing that people are doing in at small scale in a somewhat fragmented way, but this could be an asset that would allow the whole field to move more quickly if there were a single common data set and a common model that would be useful overall. So the success would look like that we actually have a model, with data set, we have a model, and we can look at metrics of people actually using the model, and then in the long run look at kind of things like citation counts for where this is used in particular studies. Sorry. In terms of risks, I think there don't seem to be any particular sort of harm risks from this, more so than any other biological data. The costs really vary depending on how ambitious we want to be and how it would go in the long run. But sort of an initial step might be about $100,000 to create the initial data set and to build the initial models. And then in sort of some of the exam stages here would be to try this out on synthetic data where we actually have ground truth and see that the models work, and then in the long run really be able to validate it on a new data set that came out over past the time that the model was developed. One more minute. And then sort of some initial steps would be really to use the grant, to use the initial funding to be able to write a detailed grant proposal that would get this funded as a long-term project that would build this asset for the longevity community. Is there anything you want to?
All right. Well, just to add one last thing, closing thought, I suppose. I think this project is very doable. It's concrete. We spent some time making it into a concrete project that has bits and pieces which we can all do and accomplish using the latest techniques in AI, and a data set will come out of it, which is also could be valuable to other researchers.
Wonderful. Anyone else want to add anything? You actually have a few more seconds. No? Okay. Then maybe add it in the Q&A. Cool. We can start the Q&A. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right here.
So a very large chocolate cake is no good if there is a tablespoon of crap in it. Have you thought of quality control for the data you're going to bring together and mix?
Yeah, obviously that would have to be a part of it as well. Quality control, batch effects, standardization across all of the data. And that would be part of what would be the value of having a single data set where we would do this, and it would be a shared resource for the community instead of every individual researcher having to do that quality control themselves.
I think they're relying on the Broad. Seems to be the Broad Institute is where the data is.
That's a source, but there are many other sources. Chan Zuckerberg has done single-cell data sets. Many individual researchers have run studies that have data sets that are published. Collecting all of those together, you'd get orders of magnitude more data, but there's a lot of work in being able to QC it, standardize it, and bring it into a common format.
Final question over here.
Yeah, so just thought about, you're talking about like accessibility, you're going to have it open to people, but have you thought about like how it's going to be usable by people? Because I've worked at some biotechs where like the AI department is different from the biologists, and they don't talk to each other at all, so they're not building with each other. And I see some online data sets that look like shit. Like they're just so unusable, like they're the ugliest thing that no one wants to use. And so I feel like that's always like a component. The data visualization, right? Like it's a big component. And so how have you thought about that?
We started, anyone else want to talk about it?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, so actually Carlos came up with this idea as more of a wet lab scientist, so he's kind of our target user, our target customer is non-bioinformatics, someone who is in wet lab that can kind of accelerate their research or validate wet lab experience. So yeah, we can't really show a prototype right now, but yeah, we have a vision for a very user-friendly interface.
As long as you thought about it, right?
Yeah, we have considered that.
User interface design. We need it urgently everywhere. All right, thank you.